So on my drive across the United States, I rented this Airbnb because I want to talk to you about putting. You know, I don't like putting. If there was a vote to eliminate putting from golf, I would absolutely vote to eliminate it. But there's never going to be a vote, and I'm not going to get a vote if there is a vote. It's something I just have to deal with. To me, I kind of look at it, it's like self-maintenance, brushing your teeth. It's not fun, but you got to do it. If you want to play this game, you got to do it. Now, how you get good at putting is first by developing a consistent technique where you can create an ascending stroke upon the ball. But then you got to get familiar with how you do it so that you could do it all the time. It shouldn't be that hard to develop a consistent putting stroke. I could tell you from all the great players that I've played with, they have different putting strokes, but they do the same thing every time. You know why? Because they're very familiar with it. You know, like I said, I don't love putting, but I'm very familiar with my putting stroke, and I'm very familiar with how I fail. Because I know how I fail, I know how to try to avoid that failure. Getting familiar with your putting stroke is just about putting in the time. Being consistent with your technique and putting in the time to know what your putting stroke looks like, know what your frame of mind has to be, know what your setup has to be, know what your intention has to be. You know, my intention in my putting stroke is all about short back, big through. This is what I want out of my putting stroke. All forward. That's the complete opposite of what I do for my long game and my short game. But for my putting stroke, that's because of this. Putter's got no power in it. So I have to power it. And I use my lead arm to brace the putter, and I use my trail arm to push my lead arm. That's my action for my putting stroke. Now I have a drill in my school where I ask my students to set the goal to make 20 3-footers in a row. This here is about a 7-footer, 6.5 maybe 7. I ask my students to make 20 3-footers in a row. Once that becomes comfortable, make 30. Once that becomes comfortable, make 40. In that experience, not only are you going to get very familiar with your putting stroke and what you need to do in order to hit the same putt over and over again, you're going to get familiar with how you fail. And it's in the familiarity with how you fail that you can do something to avoid it in the future. Now, what I do is I hit 100 3-footers in a row. That's what I feel like I need to do in order to play the game the way I want to play the game. And like I said, it's not fun for me. It's like brushing my teeth. It's necessary. Short back, big through. Now, just so you know, I don't like what my putting stroke looks like. I don't like what my setup looks like. But I like how the ball rolls. So I don't care about this, I care about that. Now, if you want to become a better golfer, put the time in on the putting green. Short back, big through. Now, as far as pin in, pin out, listen, if I want to put the ball in a hole, I want nothing else in the hole. I want there to be as much room as possible for my ball to go in. The pin only helps you if you can't control your speed. If you can control your speed, there's no reason to have that pin in the hole. Join the Academy and start improving your golf game today.